Boker Tov, good morning everyone. Now you can see where I am in the background. We are about to start the special edition of Kabbalah Café this morning. We are Erev Shabbat Parashat Behaalotecha. Thank you very much to Gershom and Rachel Dandy for sponsoring this edition of Kabbalah Café in honor of the Refuah Shlema of Yeshua Mordechai ben Fega, our dear friend Jay Schechter. Bezrat Hashem, it should be Refuah Shlema immediately now. Thank you to Raya and Mordechai for hosting this and broadcasting the Kabbalah Café. And we're about to jump right into our subject. I actually would like to start off with a with a special story. My late step-grandfather, he came from a town in a city in Poland called Dinev. And apparently over there was the great Rebbe, the Behaalotecha Rebbe. As a child, I remember he told us that he ran away from the Second World War, from the Nazis in Rechavia, together with the Behaalotecha Rebbe. The Behaalotecha Rebbe lived very, very, very long, Baruch Hashem. I think it was to 101, 102. Really had a Richas Yom Mishanim Tovos. He was a very, very great Rebbe, and it was a schut that my grandfather was able to spend time with him around his bar mitzvah time, running away from the Nazis, Yimach Shemam v'Zichram. The following story happened in Bergen-Belsen in the year 1944. It was actually 1943 because it was Hanukkah, and it did not yet change the secular year. And the Behaalotecha Rebbe was able to get a hold of some candles or oil, and on the first night of Hanukkah, he says the first bracha. Then he says the second bracha. Then he's about to say the third bracha, Shechianu, that we say before we do a new mitzvah. He takes a look around and he sees all of his friends, colleagues in the labor camp, death camp. And then he says, with all of his might, he says the Shechianu, thanking Hashem for giving him the zechut of being able to fulfill this mitzvah. Afterwards, a person came over to him and said, Rebbe, how could you have said this bracha with such emotion and such excitement? You're thanking Hashem. You find yourself right now in Bergen-Belsen. What kind of, we say Shechianu when a person has Simchat Alev, the joy of the heart. So what kind of joy do you have now? So the Rebbe said, you know what? I had the same question as you before I made this bracha. And I wasn't sure if I should be saying this bracha. Then I took a look around to the right and to the left. And I saw all kinds of Jews. I saw Jews that were Shomer Torah Mitzvot, keeping Torah and Mitzvot. And I also saw Jews that were very distant, unfortunately, from observing Torah and Mitzvot. And I said to myself, look, you have people that are so far, but they're all coming around me, around us, and they're all excited and emotional to be able to celebrate the first night of Hanukkah in Bergen-Belsen. Even in this horrific situation, I decided that I am going to say the Shechianu with all my might, with all my excitement. In this week's Parsha, Parashat Behaalotecha, there's an interesting subject regarding the Leviim. The Torah tells us that we have to purify the Leviim. There was the whole process, after they were purified, we would, Am Yisrael would purify them, and they also did the smicha. The smicha means to lay their hands on the Leviim. That was part of the process. Why did the Leviim need to be purified? Because the Leviim were those who killed out those that had done the Chet HaEgel, the sin of the golden calf. They were appointed to kill them all, to kill out all the 3,000 individuals. So they needed to be purified. The main question is, really, Am Yisrael should have also been purified. Not only the Leviim. True that the Leviim were the ones that actually killed the people who committed the sin of the golden calf, but nonetheless, Am Yisrael was in a situation of impurity, in a sense, spiritual impurity, because Am Yisrael, even though it was only one person specifically, one group, the Erev Rav, but nevertheless, there was the general impurity of committing the sin of the golden calf. So as a whole, we should have needed to be purified. And here's an amazing insight into how the relationship between the Am Yisrael, the Israelites, was in relation to the Leviim, to the Levites. First, let's talk about what we're going to be learning tomorrow in the Pirkei Avot. Last Shabbat, we learned Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers. We learned the first chapter for the second cycle. And tomorrow, after Mincha, we're going to learn the second chapter. This is a good opportunity for me to tell you that every morning we learn from Monday to Thursdays. We're learning now Pirkei Avot according to Chassidut. Yesterday we made a siyum. We made a conclusion on the first chapter. And this coming Monday we're going to start Perek Sheni, the second chapter. But let's get back to a very interesting Mishnah, which I believe is Mishnah 10. The students of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, each one of the 5 students said something special. One of them said that the most important thing to have in life is an ayin tova, a good eye. Another one said that the most important thing is a lev tov, a good heart. Another one said shachen tov, a good neighbor, and so on and so forth. We're not going to get into the Mishnah right now. Hopefully, in the morning classes, we'll get to that Mishnah soon. Be'ezrat Hashem. So I ask you now at this time, what is so important about a good eye? Ayin tova. If you want to tell me a lev tov, having a good heart, I understand. But what is the meaning of an ayin tova? What is it exactly? And here's the point, and then we'll try to explain a little bit. When we look at someone, when we look at something, we are drawn to what we appreciate. There are some people that have a good heart, and unfortunately there are some people that just don't. So too, there are people that have a good eye, and some people that just don't. We have to practice to develop a good eye. Let me give you a couple of examples, hopefully. Michelangelo, he once told over that before he went along and carved out an amazing image within a stone, he said that he was able to look at the raw rock, and he was able to see the image within the rock even before he started to carve out the image. He used to lock himself in a room for 2 months. He did not allow anybody to come inside the room. And after 2 months, after tremendous labor, you were able to see the finished product. And so, what do we have over here? We have an eye. Michelangelo had a special eye. He had a special talent to be able to reveal, to be able to see deep down beneath the surface what an ordinary person would be unable to see. They say they did a research about birds. They did research about birds that fly really high, and they are killer birds. Ofot torfot. Birds that kill and you know. And they realized in the research that when the bird looks from above, apparently the bird does not see all the buildings and mountains and trees. The bird sees the specific animal that it's going to attack. It's almost as if the bird has selective vision. Hashem puts in the mind, in the eye of the bird, it's not just what you see, but it's the pnimiyut, it's the innermost concept that a person, that the case of the bird, but that the bird sees, and in the case of a human being, what we see. When we go around and we look at different things in the world, different people see different things. For example, if you have a husband and wife going by a clothing store, the wife will probably shop with her eyes, be amazed at the clothes and the styles. Very often the guy, he won't have any idea what his wife is doing. It's just a totally different mindset. You can have two people looking at the exact same thing, and they'll actually see two totally different objects, or totally two different things. And this is exactly what it means when we say in next week's parsha, in the parsha of Shlach, we say the portion of the tzitzit, and we say, "V'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem." Do not look after, do not let your eyes wander after your heart and after your eyes. So the famous question is, it should say, first, do not look at with your eyes where you're not supposed to, and then the heart, because the heart follows where the eyes look. The answer is, that's correct on a basic level. But on a deeper level, the eyes go after the heart. The eyes won't even see, in a sense, something that the heart doesn't want you to see. So when we say in the Mishnah, Ayin Tova, that there are some people that have a good eye, that's a good midah. That's an exceptional attribute. That's a midah which says that when I look at something, what do I see? I only see good. It's almost as if I don't even see anything else. I just see good. That's what this rabbi, one of the students of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, that's what he said. That is the midah. That is the attribute that we should all develop. That we should all adapt to. Ayin Tova, having a good eye, almost as if creates a new picture, creates a scenario that if you don't have a good eye, you can't relate to it. It's hard to relate to. You could, but it's just difficult. But if you train yourself, if a person trains themselves to be able to have an ayin tova, a good eye, then when you look at the world, you see a different world than what other people see. You automatically see a holy world, a sacred world, a special world, and a unique presence of Hashem in the world. When you look at a person, then you see the good in the person. You can have a child in class with two teachers. One is a Torah teacher and one is a math teacher. One teacher, irrelevant which one. One teacher can look at the child as being a prize student, and the other teacher can look at the child as being a wild child. It's all about how you look. It's all about how you approach the scenario in which you find yourself. Now let's get back to the original question. We asked if all of Am Yisrael were really impure, so why did we have to purify the Leviim? Seemingly everybody should have needed to be purified. So the explanation is that Am Yisrael, we talk about purifying Am Yisrael, lechaper, to atone for the sin of the golden calf. That had to be done through, through the fact that Am Yisrael viewed the Leviim as being the individuals who brought their Yeshua. Mi ha'esha chafetz chaim. The famous verse from chapter 34 in the Tehillim. Who is the person who wishes life? Ohev yamim lirot tov, who loves his days and wants to see good. So the next verse, nitzor l'shon chamira, guard your mouth. But according to the deeper interpretation, mi ha'esha chafetz chaim, who is a person who desires life? Ohev yamim, who wants days? Lirot tov is the answer. See good. Train yourself to be able to see good within every single person, within every single scenario in life. And that's going to be your secret of success. What was the ability for the tribe of Levi? What really was the power for the tribe of Levi to bring a Yeshua, to bring purity for all of Am Yisrael? Was the fact that Am Yisrael admired them. Was the fact that Am Yisrael looked up to them. Was the fact that Am Yisrael purified them and sprinkled upon them the water that needed to purify them. That was really the secret of success, which brought about the purification of the Leviim. Just before Rosh Hashanah, in the year of 1994, it was right here in Yerushalayim, and the great Rebbe of Gur, the Pnei Menachem, Rabbi Menachem Alter, of blessed memory, was before the Slichot, and a lot of people went by the Rebbe of Gur to receive a blessing. Amongst them was an eye doctor, a famous eye doctor apparently, by the name of Mordechai Soonfreund. He told the Rebbe that he's going soon to an international conference in Europe, and he's going to be lecturing on his profession, being an eye doctor. And he asked him for a bracha. So the Rebbe of Gur said to him, I have a request for you. I want you to tell people during your speech that you were by a rabbi in Jerusalem, and he asked you to give over a message. What is the message? That every one of you has a special research and a revelation that you have worked on. But you keep it for yourself so that nobody steals your idea. And no one should take away your pride and the money that you want to make from this new brainstorm. But we are eye doctors. And our mission is to get people to see better. Like the ayin tova. To be able to see better. We need to show people what it means. We need to show people what it means to have a good eye. Therefore, we need to share with others our ideas in order to be able to enhance our mission in this world. The more people have good ideas, the better we'll be able to serve people. When it came Dr. Mordechai's turn to speak, he said, I wanted to speak about my research that I had prepared to share with you. But I have a mission from a great rabbi in Jerusalem. And he gave over the message from the Pnei Menachem to the crowd of doctors. Afterwards, there was a professor from Yugoslavia. And he said, I wasn't planning to tell you what I'm going to tell you now. But after what we just heard in the name of this rabbi from Jerusalem, I decided to share with you the research that I'm in the middle of doing right now. And the outcome, the results that can help us deal with a certain eye problem. And everyone after that shared their own research that they were able to do. That's really the difference between Lev Tov and Ayin Tova. A good heart and a good eye. Lev Tov, if someone has a good heart, you want to help people. For example, about a week and a half ago, when there were the terrible riots in Lud. By the way, there's still lots of terror happening. Actually, one of the Chabad shluchim of Lud, one of the veteran shluchim of Lud, Rabbi Chazan, I saw him last night, and Bezrat Hashem, he's going to be joining us for Shabbos. And I hope he'll be able to share with us. We're going to be having a meal this Shabbat, tomorrow morning after davening. And so we invite everybody to join us. I hope he'll be able to share with us some words of inspiration. But the 5 shuls that were burned, one of the shuls were almost next to Rabbi Chazan's shul. But one of the shuls that were burned, you may have seen some of the videos, within 24 hours before Shavuot, I believe it was before Shavuot, were renovated, and we saw the amazing good heart and kindness from our brethren of Am Yisrael. That's Lev Tov. But what's Ayin Tova? Ayin Tova is a different talent. Ayin Tova is the ability to be able to look at someone else and to be able to see the good. Here I'm going to say it in these words. Ayin Tova is the ability to be able to narrow in, see the good in every situation, and to be able to be happy with someone else's lot. If you see that someone has something good, to be proud of them, to compliment them, and to realize the good that every single person has. And when you see another person that has good, that empowers the person to be able to do more good. Because the fact that it's not just looking from the outside, but it's actually empowering the person to be able to continue to do the good that they have done just before that. So I want to wish all of you a very good Shabbat Shalom. and I look forward to seeing you, Bezrat Hashem, often in person. I'm very excited that we have at least 10 people that have signed up already for the new Beit Midrash on Sundays and Tuesdays in the morning, which is going to be included. We're going to have a light breakfast, great subjects, and also teachers from our area, rabbis, acclaimed rabbis and professors. And I'm looking very forward to building up this Beit Midrash to a great success. So tonight, Mincha will be Bezrat Hashem at around 7:15. Tomorrow morning, we have a shir at 9 o'clock by Rabbi Diamond. At 9:30, will be davening, followed by a kiddush, and have a great Shabbos. Thank you very much.